Hello, in this week's video we're going to share our 3 top hacks. We've had the van for 2 years. We want to share 3 shortcuts or workarounds that we found using the van that work really well. So in this week's video, I'll be doing most of the work. Caroline's been bossing me around, been preparing the van. We're off to Wales for the weekend, for the bank holiday weekend. So trying to get some little jobs done in it before we set off. So Caroline's been a slave driver this week. So mostly in this video, you'll see me doing stuff. So for our next tip, this one is probably the most useful for me ever. When we go to a pitch, somebody likes to use all the water up in the van. So when you're on a pitch and you're only staying for a couple of days, it's generally not a problem because you can move on, you can fill the van up when you move. But sometimes if you're on a pitch for more than 2 days, we're always conscious of using too much water. So what do? Well, obviously we fill up with a hose as normal to fill the water tank up. It's got a 70 litre tank on our van, which is pretty good. It generally lasts for a couple of days without any issues. But any longer sometimes, with somebody using too much water, it can be a bit of a challenge. So what do? Well, there's 2 things you can do. You can obviously move your van, pack everything up and take it over to the water point and refill it if you haven't got a service pitch. Obviously if you've got a service pitch, you can just plug the hose pipe in and do it. However, it's not always convenient, especially if you've got an awning or if you don't want to move your van. So what can you do? And this is something that we learned from other camper vans, is you can top your water up a number of different ways. Now, you could use a bottle. I've got one here to demonstrate. A bottle with a long neck, because obviously the hose pipe or the entrance for it is quite tricky. So you can use a bottle like this, but obviously it doesn't hold very much, 0.75 of a litre. So the alternative is you can use collapsibles. We have here a collapsible watering can, which is epic. I think this holds 9 litres. I'll build it in a second and show you what it looks like. Basically fill this up with a water point, carry it back to your van, top your water up, do it 2 or 3 times. You've got a third of a tank. Our tank holds 70 litres, 9 times 3, roughly about a third of a tank. So really, really good idea. Also takes up very little room. But how do you drain your van, you ask? How do you drain it without moving it? Well, very simple. We use a folding bucket, one of the best implements we have in our camper van. Folding bucket uses a bin, recycling bin, but also you can use it to drain your water out. If this one takes, I think, 10 litres or 15, carry it over to the water disposal point, drop it, come back a couple of times, you've drained your tank. Again, without having to move your van. So one of the most frustrating things is you've got your van and you've had it on your great trip and you find something wrong with it, a little thing, a little simple job, and you think, I don't want to take it back to the dealer, it might take me weeks to get fixed, it might be a long way away, I might have to drive, it might cost me a fortune in fuel. The best thing about camper vans, with the exception of the front bit, which is like a car or a van, they're mostly like a house. So often, rather than having to buy specific motorhome accessories or replacement parts, you can simply go to a DIY shop and get different bits. So here, for example, I want to change the hinges on our cupboard doors because they don't open fully, they open halfway. So this will be a video in the future. Bought these from Screwfix, hinges to replace the ones on the door. Somebody else has done this modification. I found it in the owners group. Simple swap, so these will make a massive difference to the van. But rather than having to go back to the manufacturer or buy it from a dealer, I bought this simply from Screwfix. These were £10. Similar with the little dots you have over the screw covers in the van. You see them on everywhere in the van. I'll show you one now. But those are fantastic. Again, to buy them from the manufacturer is a pain, but you can get them from Amazon, get them from anywhere. They're just DIY stuff. So rather than getting stuff for your van from the manufacturer or the dealer, have a look at DIY stores as well. Great alternative. So that's it for this week's video. I hope you found it useful. Top 3 quick hacks for us. Hope you found them useful and you can use them in your van. If you've got any ideas for your own hacks, please leave them in the comments below. We find things like this massively useful. It's through owning a camper van and driving one and living with one, you understand all these different shortcuts and great ways to get around stuff. I'm off now to go and drink my watering can, beer, watering can, whatever it is. And we'll catch you in next week's video. Thanks for watching. Bye. But what about draining, you ask? How do you drain your van? Sorry.